And at number 10, Rihanna and Drake. This type of PDA was a little different than you might be expecting, because it was entirely one-sided. One of the couple's most famous moments was when Drake professed his love to Rihanna while presenting her with an award. At the time, we all thought it was adorable, but Rihanna revealed after that the whole thing made her feel very uncomfortable. She told Vogue, quote, "The VMAs is such a fan-focused award show, so having that kind of energy around me and knowing the people who had received the award in the past made it feel like a big deal. Waiting through that speech was probably the most uncomfortable part. I don't like too many compliments, I don't like to be put on blast." Apparently the incident was so uncomfortable that the pair were not close afterwards. Rihanna says they still remained civil, but they were much closer before the speech. Following that interview, Drake unfollowed Rihanna on Instagram, so clearly he was hurt that she felt uncomfortable about the comments. And at number 9, Timothée Chalamet and Lily Rose Depp. This has to be the most uncomfortable celebrity PDA I have ever seen, because it's clearly very candid. In September of 2019, Chalamet, who's 24, and Depp, 21, were spotted in a passionate kissing session while on a yacht in Italy. Of course, after these photos were posted, they went insanely viral. The buzz around the photos got so bad that Timothée Chalamet actually decided to comment. In an interview with GQ, the actor said, quote, "I went to bed that night thinking that was one of the best days of my life. I was on this boat all day with someone I really loved, and closing my eyes I was like, indisputably, that was great. But then of course he woke up to the whole world laughing at him. Quote, and then waking up to these pictures and feeling embarrassed and looking like a real noob, all pale, and then people are like, this is a PR stunt? A PR stunt? Do you think I'd want to look like that in front of all of you?" Honestly, I can't lie, I was one of those people who thought it could be a PR stunt, but after hearing it from that perspective, I agree he would have made the makeout a lot better looking if that was the case. And at number 8, Olivier Sarkozy and Mary-Kate Olsen. Back in 2012, this couple made meme history at a Knicks game. These two love their basketball games, they also love PDA, so there are tons of awkward photos of the couple at basketball games. But nothing is more cringe than this photo of Sarkozy squeezing Mary-Kate's head while he kissed her. It was so weird that she even gave him some serious side-eye. It felt like he was almost infantizing her, along with probably being just too aggressive in the way that he grabbed her head. Just all around very awkward. And at number 7, Taylor Hackford and Helen Mirren. This couple got married in 1997, and even though the pair have shared a lot of kisses over the course of their relationship, this particular one was very awkward. While the pair were out in 2013, the pair went in for a kiss, but were not on the same page. Taylor Hackford was going in for a tongue kiss, while Helen Mirren was going in for a more subtle lip kiss. It's happened to the best of us, but it doesn't make it any less awkward. Hackford's eyes are also slightly open during the ordeal, which is even more questionable. Although maybe he felt that something was off and snuck a peek to see what happened. And at number 6, Lil Xan and Noah Cyrus. This cringy PDA fail was so bad that it inspired countless memes. These two made their red carpet debut in 2018 at the MTV VMAs, but they were probably more affectionate than they should have been, and it resulted in the cringy moment. Basically, while the pair were posing and kissing, Xan went in for a kiss, but Noah did not, and Noah ended up pushing his nose into her cheek. It was made even worse by the sheer force of the kiss. Like, clearly Xan was going in for a pretty hard kiss if his nose like scrunched up that much. Speaking about their relationship, he said, quote, "I slid into her DMs, and like 4 months later she saw it, responded, we hung out, and we just instantly clicked. I love her whole family, I just like her a lot." But they did break up shortly after the cringy photo went viral. Halfway number 5, Pete Davidson and Kate Beckinsale. Pete Davidson is the new it guy in Hollywood. Following his split from Ariana Grande, he's been spotted with a number of gorgeous women, one of them being Kate Beckinsale. Shortly after Pete and Ariana ended their engagement, Pete and Kate started going out together and making some serious PDA. The most famous were these photos from a hockey game that the pair attended. The most cringy was this photo of Pete basically sticking his tongue straight into her mouth. I mean, she was clearly pretty into it, but that doesn't make it any less questionable. The pair met at an in-style party, and apparently Kate spent the whole time trying to get Pete's attention, although this fling fizzled out pretty fast. And at number 4, Justin Long and Drew Barrymore. These two were caught making out on a small paddle boat in New York City, and Drew was basically straddling Justin. At first glance, the photos are very eyebrow-raising and awkward for the other people boating on the pond. But then it was discovered that the steamy makeout was actually for a movie the pair were filming called Going the Distance. There were also other people on the boat, which again brought the awkwardness level up a notch, but since it was all for the movie, we can let it slide. The couple dated in real life from 2007 to 2010. And at number 3, Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis. These two starred in the movie Friends with Benefits together, and their on-screen chemistry led many to believe that there were real feelings between the two. But they set the record straight while on stage presenting an award. The pair were at the MTV VMAs, on stage presenting an award for Best Male Performance. While they had the crowd's attention, Timberlake said, quote, "Even though we're in the movie Friends with Benefits, we've never dated." Then Kunis added, "We're like brother and sister." To demonstrate that there were no feelings between them, Timberlake then decided to make a bold move and feels her up right in front of the entire audience. But that was not all. Kunis actually reciprocated and then grabbed Timberlake's junk while adding, quote, "We have a totally platonic relationship, which is why I can do this." But it was definitely very awkward to watch. And at number 2, Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker. Kourtney and Travis are the hottest new couple, and they are showing the world how much they love each other. Since the pair got together, they've been partaking in tons of PDA. One of the most talked about photos from their Italy trip was of Kourtney straddling Travis on a gondola. But after these photos went viral, Scott Disick, Kourtney's ex, made it clear he was not happy with all the PDA. Apparently Scott DM'd Eunice Benjima, Kourtney's ex, and wrote, quote, "Yo, is this chick okay? Bro, like what is this? In the middle of Italy." Clearly trying to initiate a conversation where they both trash Kourtney. But to everyone's surprise, even though it seemed that Kourtney and Eunice ended things kinda badly, Eunice did not trash Kourtney and he responded, quote, "Doesn't matter to me as long as she's happy. P.S. I ain't your bro." Eunice shared this whole conversation publicly, so it definitely made things even more awkward between Scott and Kourtney. And finally, number 1, Angelina Jolie and James Haven. While Angelina Jolie was walking the red carpet at the Oscars in 2000, she did the unexpected and kissed her own brother, James Haven, on the lips. Talk about some very shocking PDA. And when I say kiss, I mean multiple kisses on the lips. Her brother was her date at the Oscars that night, and they ended up kissing many times on the red carpet. Then Angelina won an award for her role in Girl Interrupted and made an interesting comment about her brother during her speech, saying, quote, "I'm in shock and I'm so in love with my brother right now. He just held me and said he loved me, and I know he's so happy for me, and thank you for that." Kinda strange thing to say in an acceptance speech. After the moment became condemned online, Jolie clarified that her parents loved seeing them kiss, adding, quote, "It wasn't some odd open-mouthed kiss. It was disappointing that something so beautiful and pure could be turned into a circus. But also I'm not sure why they needed to share that affection on the red carpet in front of everyone." Anyway.
Starting us off in the number 10 spot is Mariah Carey and Nick Cannon. Their relationship was pretty serious. They were married for over 7 years and had 2 kids together. So their PDA was all over the media, and although it was totally adorable some moments, other times it was just a bit awkward. Like this time, for example. They were husband and wife walking down the red carpet, and for some reason they decided to just get a little gropey. Check it out. At first, it's like, okay, I can handle it. Like, I'm a little uncomfortable, but it's not horrible. Then Mariah decides to take it up a notch. And now, I'm extremely uncomfortable. She decided to give him a nice little bite on his bottom lip, and even he looks uncomfortable. Not to mention, there's someone's arm going towards them, probably to tell them to keep it moving on the red carpet, or to get a room. And at number 9 we have Tana Mongeau and Jake Paul. Oh yes, the YouTube couple that got married but didn't actually get married. If you don't know the story about Jana, they are 2 of the world's most famous YouTubers right now, and they pretty much faked a relationship for clout to a point where they actually had a huge wedding in Vegas and filmed the entire thing. Their fans had to pay $50 online to watch it. And it was all fake in the end. What a waste of time and money. Their relationship was always over the top and filled with lots of drama and clout because realistically it was a smart business move. But with a fake relationship that had to seem real came with a lot of gross PDA. I mean, even on their wedding day they couldn't keep it classy. But that was no surprise for fans because they already knew what to expect after seeing some of their engagement photos. Like this one. Classy. Nothing says true love more than that. Cruising into number 8 we have Meghan Trainor and Charlie Puth. Who else remembers the time when the 2 of them had a super aggressive makeout on stage at the AMAs? The 2 of them released a duet called Marvin Gaye, and in the music video they teased fans by being flirty and super close to kissing. But then when they performed it on the AMA stage, the song ended and they went in for this long intense makeout session. Charlie even did some booty grabbing. Fans were shocked and also a little bit confused because no, they weren't dating, and no, they didn't start dating after that. Charlie talked about it during an interview afterwards and said it was just for fun and that Meghan is just a good friend. I don't do that with my good friends. Just saying. Sliding to number 7 spot is Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield. They were once an adorable couple, so a makeout session isn't out of the ordinary, but one in particular made people uncomfortable. Now, I'm just guessing, but I feel pretty confident in that statement. Back in 2014, Andrew was asked to host SNL, and when he began his monologue, his Spider-Man co-star and real-life lover, Emma Stone, stepped in to help him out. At one point during their time on stage, Andrew ended up in his Spider-Man suit, and Emma stepped into her role from the movie as well, and they recreated their iconic kissing scene from the movie. It appears like they had some difficulty nailing the makeout because this one was incredibly hard to watch. It was nothing like the movie. I get that it was part of their comedy sketch, but ew. Like, please stop, it was very weird. Moving on to number 6, we have Liza Minnelli and David Guest. No disrespect to David's passing in 2016, but I can't ignore the iconic over-the-top relationship he once had with Liza when he was with us. Their wedding day was famously known and best described as insane, as was their relationship. With a title like that, it's not surprising that their PDA was over the top and wild as well. But there's one image that has gone down in history. Good God, this has to be the most awkward picture we've seen on this list so far. Honestly, you guys, there is nothing more gut-wrenching than watching someone kiss with their eyes open. Like, no, why are your eyes open? His eyes are closed. Like, what are you possibly looking at? Halfway through the list at number 5 is Paris Hilton and Doug Reinhardt. The two of them dated for over a year, and after some time going on and off, they finally called it quits in 2010. But during their time together, they ended up in the press on multiple occasions for their extreme PDA. Let's just say there was a lot of aggression and a lot of tongue. I feel like there's a lot of people on this list who just like to touch their tongues together like that, like not actually kiss with their lips. It's just this weird tongue thing. But there was also this awkward makeout that the paparazzi caught. They are both going in with wide open mouths, so I'm not sure how that kiss worked out in the end. But what's more awkward is the way that they are both holding onto each other's shoulders. Like, why? How are you possibly kissing like that? Here we are at number 4 with Amber Rose and Wiz Khalifa. I have to start off by saying that they were such a cute couple, and I am genuinely sad that they did not work out. They got married in 2013 and had a son together, but sadly split just a year and a half later. The good news is they are able to co-parent and have love and respect for one another. When they were together, they were always a very touchy-feely couple. They couldn't keep their hands off each other, and sometimes it just went a little too far. I mean, because I thought they were so adorable, I might be able to look past all the tongue action that's happening, but when you're on the red carpet, I just feel like it's not necessary. Does the tongue thing really need to come out on the red carpet like that? I feel like just smile and take your picture and keep going. We've made it to number 3, you guys, and we have Spencer Pratt and Heidi Montag. The MTV couple first became known from the TV series The Hills, and during their time on the show, many people were uncomfortable with the relationship even when they weren't having PDA moments. But nothing is more uncomfortable than using your PDA as a moment to promote a new project. Let me explain. Look at this picture. So they were having this like hot makeout session at lunch, and they realized that the paparazzi was capturing it, so they decided to write out her upcoming album title on a piece of paper and hold it up to the camera while continuing to make out. Maybe a smart marketing plan, but it's just awkward. Like, how desperate are you? Taking over the number 2 spot is Jared Leto and Scarlett Johansson. Totally forgot these two ever dated, if I'm being completely honest, but maybe they would have lasted longer if Jared paid more attention to her. You're probably wondering what I mean by that. Let's just take a look at one of their most famous PDA moments. Alright, I know I said kissing with your eyes open is the most awkward thing ever, but this might be worse. Scarlett is clearly invested in this makeout session, and Jared had his phone behind her back and is looking at it. If I was the paparazzi snapping this photo, I would feel so awkward. Like, I would probably want to say something to them. Like, Scar, just a heads up, your man is on his phone. Like, he's clearly not into the kiss as much as she was. Alright guys, we are finally at number 1, and we have Hugh Hefner and Holly Madison. Realistically, I could say Hugh Hefner with any of the Playboy bunnies. Everyone has a different opinion on this because the huge age gap between the two of them doesn't make some people uncomfortable. To me, it always has. Now, this is just my personal opinion, and we are all allowed to have them. Like, if this picture doesn't make you want to look away, then good for you, because when I look at it, I just feel extremely uncomfortable. Holly was just 20 years old when she moved into the Playboy mansion and began dating Hugh, who was 75 at the time. Like, come on. That is insane to me. Just the age difference alone is awkward to me, but hey, like I said, to each their own. I just don't want to see it. Starting off the list at number 10 is Madonna and Drake. The fact that the two of them are on this list together for PDA is still hard for me to digest because how? How did this happen? Alright, so back in 2015, the two of them performed together at Coachella, and during the performance, she leaned down to Drake, who was sitting on a chair, and had this full-blown makeout session with him, which was wildly uncomfortable for some people who pointed out online that he was 28 and she was 56. But putting the age aside, it was more awkward because of Drake's reaction. Footage and pictures captured Drake looking hella disgusted the moment the two of them stopped kissing. She snapped back to the images during an interview and said, "I kissed a girl and I liked it. Don't kiss Drake no matter how many times he begs you to." But Drake wanted to set the record straight and posted a picture of their kiss on his Instagram with the caption, "Don't misinterpret my shock. I got to make out with the Queen Madonna and feel 100 about that forever. Thank you, Madonna." Either way, people were still uncomfortable and tweeted that they were disgusted by it and called it humiliating. I don't know if I'd go as far as that, but I did feel a little uncomfortable watching the video. It's a little awkward. Coming up next, number 9 is Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello. I'm going to start off by saying they are adorable, and I love them together, but that does not mean I want to watch them have some weird makeout session on my Instagram feed. The two of them are always really flirty with each other during their performances, which fans seem to adore, but some fans started calling them out for their PDA, saying they kiss like fish. Whatever that means. So the couple clapped back the best way they knew how and made a video of them making out in a weird and really sloppy way, basically to show that they kiss like fish.
Really hurt our feelings.
We just want to show you how we really kiss.
Yeah.
It was all a big joke and I'm sure a lot of people laughed at it, but it was almost like an awkward laugh. Like I wanted to look away, but I didn't because I like them, but it was kind of gross at the same time. I don't know. Love them, but please don't make another video like this one. Sliding to number 8 is Cardi B and Offset. If you're a fan of Cardi's, then it probably doesn't surprise you that she's on this list. The two of them shocked the world when they announced their engagement back in October 2018 after dating for less than a year. But people forgot all about that after they welcomed their baby daughter Culture into the world. Since then, they have taken the world by storm and did not leave any PDA behind. Let's just say they are not shy about showing their love for each other, whether that be behind the scenes or in front of the camera. I mean, at one of the biggest award shows of the year, the 2019 Grammy Awards, they were touching tongues on the red carpet. And I'm not saying like touching tongues like some kind of code word for making out. They literally stood there with their tongues out and just touched them together. Moving on to number 7, we have Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson. Tommy Lee Bass is best known as Tommy Lee, the founding member of the heavy metal band Motley Crue. He married the former Baywatch star after knowing her for just 96 hours back in 1995. The two of them got married on a beach with Pamela wearing a bikini as a wedding dress, but got divorced 3 years later. Despite the fact that they didn't work out, they were always on and off as a couple throughout the years. And when they were together, everyone knew because they could not keep their hands off each other. Now when I say that, it seems cute, which it is. It's sweet, but sometimes they just went a little bit too far. Like, I think it's great that you always want to be kissing and cozying up to each other, but let's keep it PG when we're outside of the bedroom, if you know what I mean. Like the poor people who are standing right behind them in that picture, I would feel so awkward. At number 6 is Janice Dickinson and A Random Man. After doing some research, I've come to realize that Janice has had some awkward PDA moments with basically anyone that she's been with. I guess she's just one of those really affectionate people when it comes to showing her love. Who knows? But there was one paparazzi picture that landed in a magazine showing her literally shoving her tongue down a man's throat, and the man could not be identified. Hence why I referred to him as Random Man. I'm sure he wasn't just a random man on the street that she just walked to and made out with, but he was random enough at the time that the media couldn't identify who he was or if they were a couple. Regardless, that is one sloppy kiss. After the first article was published, more started to surface and they identified him as her new boyfriend named Alex. No last name, just Alex. Halfway through the list at number 5 is Shane Warne chewing on Elizabeth Hurley. The two of them were together from 2011 to 2013 and Shane described it as the happiest years of my life. He wrote a new biography called No Spin, which included the details about the relationship and what caused it to come to an end. Their secret engagement was an impulse decision and he proposed to her on a boat just 18 months after they started dating. They ended up buying a home together and all seemed well, but they broke up before ever making it to the altar. Which is a shame because they were a really cute couple. But like the others on this list, they had their very uncomfortable PDA moments. A whole gallery of pictures flooded the media after they attended the Ascot races back in 2013. Keep in mind, this is a more formal event and there are tons of people around them, like in very close vicinity, as he's sitting there chewing on her lip and grabbing her butt. Like, you guys do you, but there is a time and place for everything and this is not it. Get a room. Here we are, number 4, with Jamie Foxx and Halle Berry. The two of them had a sexy makeout session on stage at the 2009 Spike TV Guys' Choice Awards and made headlines immediately. This one was uncomfortable and awkward for a few different reasons. 1, because they were not together. 2, because the kiss was incredibly inappropriate. And 3, because she had a long-term boyfriend at the time. When Jamie announced that Halle was the winner, she went up on stage, grabbed his face, and the two of them had this wild makeout session for like 30 seconds with their hands doing some wandering. You know what I mean? She actually reached down to grab his crotch before walking away to accept the award. Classy. Turns out she did it all as a joke to mimic what Adrian Brody did to her at the 2003 Oscar Awards. Apparently, her boyfriend was okay with it, and Jamie was thrilled, saying that his life will never be the same after that. In our third slot is Miley Cyrus and Cody Simpson. It is no secret that Miley has no shame when it comes to being in the public eye. It's fair to say that she has crossed the line many times with PDA, inappropriate behavior, and nearly naked attire. So when we saw a video of Miley making out with Cody at a smoothie shop one morning, it wasn't all that surprising. The only thing that made it surprising was because she was fresh out of a marriage with Liam Hemsworth, so the majority of us were like, damn girl, you move on quickly. But since that footage surfaced, the two of them have confirmed their new relationship, and if they didn't, their PDA would have. The paparazzi has caught them in some steamy makeout sessions, but they don't seem to care. The two of them post some pretty steamy photos and makeout videos on their own social media accounts for the whole world to see. By the looks of it, Miley might have just met her match. She's finally found someone who is just as out there and crazy as she is. Taking over the number 2 spot is Meryl Streep and Sandra Bullock. Who could forget when the two ladies shared a kiss at the Critics' Choice Awards back in 2010? At the time that it happened, there wasn't much to the story that we knew about, but since then Sandra has opened up about what really went down and says that Meryl Streep asked for it. The whole thing was a joke and the two of them pretended to have some sort of beef when Sandra got up on stage, and then it led to this awkward moment where she just grabs her and kisses her. In my opinion, it was just a weird joke that I didn't really get. And even though the kiss itself was short, it was still really awkward to watch happen. Love these ladies though, so nothing against them. I just prefer to not see them kiss like that on a stage in front of hundreds of people. Finally, at number 1, we have Ellen and Howard Stern. I bet you didn't think these two would end up on a PDA list together, right? I mean, Howard is married and he's not really Ellen's type, if you know what I mean. So it was incredibly awkward and a bit hilarious to watch them embrace in a kiss during an interview on her talk show. Howard surprised her with the idea on the spot because he said it would go down in history and everyone would be distracted from some controversy that involved Ellen. People were making remarks after seeing pictures of Ellen sitting next to George W. Bush together at a Dallas Cowboys game. So Howard said that this picture would erase the memory of that one. And boy was he right. It's an adorable idea, I can't lie, but seeing them embrace that moment together was just incredibly awkward. I think it was so awkward because Howard is like talking about it the whole time and even asks Ellen if she's ever kissed a man before. But the good news is the kiss did not involve tongue. For that, I am thankful.